Good evening, proletariat! Welcome to Turbo Tuesday. Here at MBT Industries, we are constantly innovating our way to the Yugist revolution. The working duelists of the world can't be led by just anyone, so before we can begin disassembling the oppressive metagame, we need to locate the boss to end all bosses, combing through 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! History in the process. As always, we'll give any fledgling leader of the Vanguard a quick once-over, a chance to prove themselves, and a performance review that will determine if they'll be called back to the next round of interviews, or if they'll need some effect adjustment in our re-education facility. Today we have a card who was an unfortunate casualty of the most recent ban list. Presenting, Jet Warrior. Before we check out today's corporate stooge, however, a word about our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck, the best online site for database searching, deck building, and strategy articles, all conveniently located at www.ygoprodeck.com. Now let's take a look at that resume. Jet Synchron plus one or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is synchro summoned, you can target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you contribute one level 2 or lower monster, special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Jet Warrior once per turn. Oh, I see. You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? This once easy to access synchro monster has been all but rendered impossible to summon for the sins of Jet Synchron. Well, let's get to work finding a substitute. There are a few cards that can be treated as Jet Synchron for the purposes of a synchro summon, but none are as readily available as Quick Draw Synchron. Now we've got a bit of a problem. Jet's a 5, and Quick Draw's also a 5. But we can fix that with Catch Eve, and thankfully Synchrons and Cybers have just about the most searchers in the entire game. Of course, we'll need something worth returning to the hand for the payoff, and what better to bounce than Kaiju? So with that, let's send our leader to the Edo Pro ladder. So it's time for our performance review, and it looks like both our opponent is playing Cubic in solidarity with Duel Links, and we failed to open the combo. Not a compelling start, Jet Warrior. We'll pass back to our opponent with a grip full of Kaiju. For turn they draw a copy of, Unification number 2. That's great news for us because it means they won't be able to link climb. They'll banish 6 cards from their extra deck with Pot of Extravagance before setting a Vijam, 2 spells and traps, and passing turn. We draw Lady Debug, and we should be able to do it. We'll special summon this copy of Jizikuru, followed by a Lady Debug. We'll fire off the tuning to get a copy of Quick Draw to hand. We'll special summon a Kaiju, followed by Quick Draw, followed by a Starlight Junction, followed by a Catch Eve. From here we can synchro summon, for the first time in months, a Jet Warrior, putting that Jizikuru back in our own hand and proceeding to the battle phase. Now, I haven't done the math, but I'm sure this is lethal. Okay, well, looks like I should have. Our opponent draws another copy of Pot of Extravagance, they'll fire it off. They'll draw 2 cards off the top of their deck, and unfortunately they're slightly better. They'll lead with a copy of Duza, they'll activate its effect before activating Karma, they'll activate the effect of Duza as well. Next, they're going to activate Cubic Wave, which is terrible news. That means that not only are 2 of our monsters' effects going to be negated, but also their monster is going to have 7,200 attack points. Getting over big dudes is not something that Jet Warrior is equipped to do. We'll tribute for another Kaiju and switch our monsters to defense position, but the writing may just be on the wall. They draw the 3-mat and then fire off the 3rd consecutive Pot of Extravagance before drawing exactly the Cubic necessary to make him. Okay, well, we can fire Star Changer, but that's going to do less than nothing. I guess we have lost. Well, we're back, and just how did this left-behind leader perform? Let's consult our super scientific metrics above. I'm giving this single parent a 3 in terms of consistency. There's just so many searchers for Synchrons, and other substitutes are just as searchable as the ones we played. I'm giving this worst of Yusei's aces a 1 in terms of investment. No one should be forced to play Quick Draw, and no one should be forced to play Cyberses. I'm giving this big ol' bouncer a 1 in terms of payoff. The interaction with Kaijus is neat, but being slightly worse than the normal summonable Luna isn't a great place for payoff. That said, my final verdict is a pass on Jet Warrior. Jillian! We've already banned Jet Synchron, so we'll have to ban every non-tuner monster.